Hey friends, I'm Courtney and welcome to the Incessant Bookworm. So today is kind of a themed booktube video since this time last year I was in Boston. So it was my first time out there and I loved it. Even though it was kind of cold, rainy, and windy, it was still the best time. That didn't damper my spirits at all. I got to see everything I wanted to see. And the most important thing, I got to see Harvard University. So if you notice by the title of this booktube video, it is part of the Rory Gilmore Reading Challenge. And what is more Rory than wanting to go to Harvard? Yes, I know that she went to Yale, but her dreams, seasons 1 through 4 were all about Harvard, so had to represent. This was probably one of my favorite purchases as well as favorite parts of visiting Boston. So technically Harvard's in Cambridge, but that's just right outside of Boston. It was probably like a 15-minute train ride from the Back Bay area where I was staying to Cambridge. So absolutely loved it. I tried to find like the spots that Rory and Lorelai had visited. I believe that was in season 2, beginning of season 2, where Lorelai left Max at the altar kind of thing, and they went on a road trip and went to see Harvard. So I wanted to see the library, which I saw, and then I couldn't find the residence hall room that they snuck into to get a picture, but that was fine. But it was a super cool experience. So that's why for this booktube video, with everything with October being fall, the October 1st was my start of my Gilmore Girls rewatch kind of thing. I wanted to dedicate this booktube video to Rory Gilmore Reading Challenge books I have not read yet. More specifically, what I still have on my shelf. So there are 339 books on this list, and these are all the books that are referenced or shown in some way in the series in seasons 1 through 7. So there hasn't been, that I know of, any book list from the Year in the Life Netflix, I guess later down the road series. So I'd be interested to see what books come out of there. Obviously, I mean, knowing the characters, there's gotta be some kind of literary references in those 4 episodes on Netflix, but who knows? There was a time about a year or so ago where I wanted to dedicate my entire reading year to books on the Rory Gilmore Reading Challenge. And, you know, that just didn't happen because so many more things come out. You all know this as readers. Other things kind of catch your eye, or you kind of need a break from what you're reading and jump into something else. So I still like the idea of that challenge. I might make that a future one. Maybe it's like a month of Rory Gilmore Reading Challenge books. I'm not sure, but I love a good reading challenge. And plus, I was also talking about this to Chelsea and Sarah over at Novel Pairings podcast, and they're obsessed with it too. So who knows? Maybe that'll be a fun episode later down the line, or maybe a blog post. I'm not sure. But if you participated in the Rory Gilmore Reading Challenge, let me know. I'd love to hear which books that you've read from it. First book we have is Wuthering Heights by Emily Brontë, and this is one or the only book written by Emily Brontë before she passed away at the age of 30. She is one of the Brontë sisters. So this I've heard so much about. It is a classic English literature book, but I never read it in school, or it wasn't on any of my required readings. But it is a haunted, mysterious love story between Heathcliff and I believe it's Kathy. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. But Heathcliff is an orphan, gets brought into this family, and I believe Kathy is a part of that family, and they kind of develop a relationship or some kind of mutual understanding of each other. And then we go from there. So I've heard about this through a lot of different sources, not just through Gilmore Girls. I should really find out which episode each of these books I'm going to share with you, or the context that it was given that I would share with you all, because I think that would help me understand where it's coming from, or a little bit more about the book, because I haven't really delved too much into it. But I also saw it on, what was that movie? It was that movie with Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds. They work at like this publishing house, and she's about to be deported to go to Canada, or back to Canada, and then they have to like pretend to get married or whatever so the immigration lawyer can like get off their backs. But anyway, she reads this book every year. It's her favorite book. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I think I've seen that in real life situations too. So that is one I have yet to have. I've kept this book in like my gym bag as if I'm like waiting around kind of thing. That's why it's a little bit banged up. But I recently refound it since I'm not going to the gym much these days, but I would love to get into this. Next up, we have Catch-22 by Joseph Heller, and this I've always been intrigued about because people always say, like, that's a Catch-22, and though I think I know what they're talking about, I'd love to actually know what they're talking about and have the context of it based off this book. This I've seen on Banned Books Week's list, so I thought that was appropriate. This one was on my back-to-school reading challenge for the month of September, but I didn't get around to it, but that's okay. It also would have been the banned book as well as the historical fiction, or one I've started but never finished, so that would have counted for 3. I should have just read it. But anyhow, this follows Captain Joe Yossarian, I believe, in World War II, around like the 1940s, as an Air Force like bombardier, and just finds like his kind of commentary and a bunch of his friends too, just trying to survive throughout this war and kind of like keep their sanity. So I thought that would be kind of interesting too. Next up, we have Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell, and I just love this cover. Look how stunning that is. I know there's different editions and versions out there, but this I believe I got, oh, the sticker's still on it. I got it at Borders. Rip. Oh gosh. But anyway, so this follows Scarlett and Rhett, who are 2 very different types of characters in the post-Civil War American South, and it's about love and war and kind of, again, like that survival element, and each of their personalities kind of like battling with each other because they are so different. So I have seen the film with, oh my gosh, I can't remember her name, Vivian Leigh and Clark Gable back in 1939, I believe. So this, I wonder if this is referenced in that episode. Oh, no, that was something else. I feel like this is something Rory was saying to Dean about like feminism and women's empowerment. I'm really not sure, but it could also be Lorelai making fun of Rory for something. I don't remember. Oh my gosh, I wish I could. I mean, like, I am rewatching them, so I'm trying to pay attention to when all the books are referenced. So I'll get back to you on that one. Next up, we have Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy, and this one I remember in Gilmore Girls is when Dean, or Rory gives Dean this book to read, and he's like, it's depressing, it's sad, I already know the ending. If you don't want to know, pause it right now or fast forward. But yeah, she throws herself in front of a train and like kills herself because she's in like deep despair. So I'm not going to be too surprised when that comes along, but kind of building up to that. It is a rather thick, chunky paperback book, but this follows Anna Karenina. So she is married and has a child, I believe, maybe more than one, and she starts this affair with Count Vronsky and isn't really discreet about it. And then I believe she gets like pushed aside, and she's kind of like stuck because like her husband knows that she's been unfaithful. This other guy doesn't really want her anymore, so like, what's the girl to do? I think there's other choices, but she was in very much despair or very sad with both of those kind of heartbroken experiences. But yeah, this is a classic. I know that the names are in Russian, of course, but I feel like I need to keep a chart based off how many characters there are, so I can kind of keep them straight, because I get confused a lot with people's names if they sound very similar. So that I will have to keep with this one too. Next up, we have The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand, and I was introduced to Ayn Rand back in high school. We read Anthem, and that was a shorter book compared to this and Atlas Shrugged. And I was intrigued by her writing style, this idea or philosophical idea of objectivism, and just learning more about that. But this was just so intimidating to read. And I even, oh my gosh, I started it. I got onto page, what is this, 52. I remember starting this at my friend's place. I visited him in Denver, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a cool reading night. I only read 50 pages and told myself I was going to read on the plane ride home to Cincinnati, and it didn't happen. And then look, I'm still stuck on page 52. So that'll have to start over again because I don't really remember the plot. Anyway, this was when Jess came to town and was like trying to form a bond with Rory, or Rory was like intrigued by him, even though like she knew he was like a bad guy, or not bad guy, like the, I don't know, what would you call it? I don't know, like the dangerous one, or Jess was kind of like the troubled bad kid that is like very alluring and kind of like charming and people are like intrigued by. And Rory, this was like her phase, was to date the bad guy, or the bad boy, I guess you would say. But anyway, they like talk over this book because like Jess is like, what is this nut talking about? And Rory's like, just give it one more chance. Anyway, oh sorry, let me change the blinds real quick. There's a stream of sunlight coming through. All right, I guess I chose the wrong time to film today, but hopefully that you don't see too many stripes. I can see it on my shirt. Oh my god. Oh well, we're moving on. Anyway, there you go. Ayn Rand, The Fountainhead, and I will eventually get to this. Next up, we have The Amazing Adventures of Kavalier and Clay by Michael Chabon, and this, I don't know why I haven't read it before. It's about comic books, like, and superheroes and villains and fighting crime and all that kind of stuff, and I'm like, why in the world have I not read this yet? But this follows Joe Kavalier and Sammy Clay, so they are cousins. Joe has just escaped Nazi-invaded Prague and come to New York City where his cousin Sammy is, and they're both talented either in drawing and artistry or just like writing stories. So they team up and then they meet this other girl and they all kind of form their own characters within the comic book that they are writing. So I don't know, I feel like I should enjoy this, but this is another one where I've started but never finished. This, I don't remember the context where it was in Gilmore Girls, but I feel like this might have been a Jess book. Not sure. I'll have to look into that too. So those are all the books that I own that I have not read that are on the Rory Gilmore Reading Challenge. The ones I do own that I have read off of the list that I would love to talk about briefly include a lot of Jane Austen. So Pride and Prejudice, Emma, and Northanger Abbey are just a few that were mentioned in the show. I also have Rebecca. There's a really pretty copy over there, so I'm gonna go get that real quick. So Rebecca by Daphne de Maurier, and that should be coming to Netflix this week, next week, I believe, with Lily James. Love her. This follows a nameless woman who just gets married to this gentleman, where she moves into this home called Manderley and is kind of haunted by the ghost of Rebecca, or his wife that is now deceased. So very excited. I just love this cover. Look how shiny it is. Look how pretty it is. Amazing. So I wish I paid a little bit more attention when I watched the episodes. I am rewatching them now, so maybe I don't know, I'm on her birthday. So that's probably like the 5th or 6th episode in the first season. So I'll try to pick up if some of these books that I've just listed are in those episodes moving forward. So I'll make note of that. I also want to know kind of more about the context and understand the references more. I don't know if you all have listened to Gilmore Guys. It's a hilarious podcast about these two guys one who's seen the episodes all the way through and can probably recite all the references and the quotes and everything, and then the other guy hasn't seen any of them. So they watch episode by episode and kind of commentate on everything having to do with the episode, the references, the style, the quotes, everything. And they have a segment in their podcast episodes where they talk about the references and kind of unpack them some more. So I probably should listen to that and try to get some more context that way. I wonder if they did episodes nowadays with like our current generation, with a lot of our new technology and entertainment and all that, what kind of references they would pick out. I think that would be really interesting. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. It's a little bit different, a little fun theme with fall, with me missing Boston and Harvard. So Boston back there, one of my favorite cities. Again, with my hair, don't mind me if I'm trying to like make it longer. It actually has gotten longer, so sorry. A little bit of vanity there. So next week I will be heading up to the Book Loft in Columbus, Ohio, and I'm hoping I can do one of two things, or maybe both. One being a bookstore tour. Whether I can do that inside, I don't know. I have to get permission, or at least ask. I think that's the good thing to do, especially since I'm going to put it on different media channels. But if not, I'll do like a road trip. Here's my before and after experience, some pictures and videos of like the exterior of the building if I can, and maybe some like snapshots inside. But if you haven't been there, I would hope that you would in the future when you feel safe and able to do that. Or if you're in Ohio, it's a little bit easier to get there because it's in the middle of the state. But I hope to do that, I will definitely do a book haul. I've already made a list of the books that I want to get. Very excited. Most of them are on my wish list. And then, of course, I'll spark up any that catch my eye while I'm in the store. Again, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up or comment down below. Feel free to also hit subscribe if you want to see more videos like this and me and my random hairstyles that I'm trying out. Why not? We're in quarantine. But yeah, so what else can I share with you all? Oh, I also forgot. I'm on currently day 8 of Whole30. So this is a fun, for me, I don't know why I do these things. Some people would not consider it fun, especially the first 8 days. This like dietary nutritional challenge is to kind of cleanse you of processed foods and kind of figure out if you're allergic to anything, but also just makes you sleep better, makes your skin nicer, and then it also helps with like toning and like weight and everything. So all over package. I've done it a few times before, and I'm not trying to like sell it. I'm not an affiliate of there or like an influencer for Whole30, but I like doing the program. So day 8, I've passed the I want to kill all the things stage and the hangry stage and the hangover stage, because it's like cleansing my body of all these like sugars and crap that I ate beforehand. So feeling good. 22 more days to go. If you'd like to see more bookish content like this, please head over to my blog or Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. I'm all over the place. You can find me by just typing in Incessant Bookworm. I'd love to see you there. Also, if you'd like to contribute to this channel, either financially or through books, I have my Ko-fi and Amazon wishlist pages listed in the description below, so feel free to hit those too. All right, so thank you again. I hope you found some new books. Hope you liked my Harvard sweatshirt. And talking about Rory Gilmore, I can talk about her all day. Clearly, I have some holes in the series because I can't remember the context of some of these books, but I will fix that for future episodes. So thank you again for watching. Have a great day and happy reading.